morning and welcome to Biocon's Q4 FY24 and full year FY24 earnings briefing. I'm extremely pleased to share that Biocon's consolidated Q4 FY24 performance was very satisfactory and strongly led by biologics that delivered the promised billion-dollar annual revenue milestone, thus marking a very successful transition of the Biosimilars acquisition from Viatris. Increased market share of key products in the US, especially Fulphila, Ogivri, and Semglee. Also increased market share in Europe of adalimumab, Fulphila, and many other products. And of course, a very strong performance in the emerging markets, coupled with significant volumes growth, were the highlights of the biosimilars business this quarter. It's also important for me to point out that with the recent approval of liraglutide in the UK, we added to our list of global firsts and demonstrated our science and our capability in developing complex GLP-1 molecules, which will be the key growth driver for the generics business going forward. When it comes to Syngene, Syngene is certainly well positioned to benefit from the China Plus One strategy, which is being rapidly adopted by the US pharma and biotech sector. For the full year FY24, we reported consolidated revenue growth of 35% at 15,621 crores, which is almost $1.9 billion. And an EBITDA growth of 44% at 4,164 crores, with a healthy EBITDA margin of 27%. This growth, again, was largely driven by biosimilars, which grew 58% to attain 8,824 crores, or the billion-dollar mark. The Biocon Group has therefore strengthened business operations, expanded global reach, and is now increasingly well positioned to deliver a new phase of growth spanning biosimilars, GLP-1 peptides, and CDMO services. Now, moving to a comprehensive overview of our financial and business segment performance, let me start with the FY24 consolidated financial performance. Total revenues at the group level grew 35% to 15,621 crores. The biologics segment contributed the bulk of the full year growth, with revenues soaring by 58% to 8,824 crores. The research services segment grew by 9% to 3,489 crores, while generics was fairly flat at rupees 2,799 crores. EBITDA for the year, as I mentioned earlier, was up 44% at 4,164 crores, with an EBITDA margin of 27% versus 25% a year ago. Net profit before exceptional items for the year was 1,030 crores, which is up 31% year on year. Now, when it comes to Q4 consolidated financial performance, total revenue for the quarter was 3,966 crores, up 1% year on year. Revenue from operations was at 3,917 crores, came in slightly more by 4%. However, if you adjust for the exceptional gain of 109 crores from Bicara stake dilution and a licensing income of 175 crores in the same period last year, then total revenue for Q4 is up 8% year on year. Similarly, adjusting for licensing income of 175 crores last year, revenue from operations for Q4 is up 8% as well. Now, EBITDA for the quarter stood at 964 crores, and adjusting for the impact of licensing income and gain from Bicara stake dilution, then EBITDA for the quarter showed a growth of 9% year-on-year. On a like-to-like basis, Biocon delivered a good performance both in terms of revenue and EBITDA in Q4. Net profit excluding exceptional item for the quarter was at 144 crores. Biosimilars revenue grew a robust 12% year-on-year, while research services and generics saw sequential growth of 2% and 7% respectively. Now coming to key highlights of our business segments. Let me start with biosimilars. As I mentioned earlier, on a full year basis, Biocon Biologics revenues increased 58% to 8,824 crores. The growth was driven by the consolidation of the acquired business and robust growth in the core business segments across advanced and emerging markets. The business delivered 2,190 crores in EBITDA, representing a healthy margin of 25%. We continue to invest in our pipeline to drive future growth with R&D spends at estimated 10% of revenue. Reduction of our acquisition debt remains a key priority, and we were able to allocate $250 million to this effort over the full year. Now, business performance wise, this has been a remarkable year for Biocon Biologics as we evolved into a fully integrated global company with a presence in over 120 countries. The integration and transition was an extremely complex effort, and we successfully completed this 1 year ahead of plan by ensuring business continuity and a seamless experience for our patients, customers, and partners. I would like to emphasize that this was something that was a big concern for everyone looking at this transition, and not only did we do this seamlessly, but also a year ahead of plan. The successful integration of the acquired business is certainly reflected in Biocon Biologics crossing the promised $1 billion annual revenue milestone this fiscal. Q4 was the first quarter where Biocon Biologics directly managed the fully integrated business across all geographies. And with Biocon Biologics now spearheading commercial operations, the company witnessed a significant step up in market share of its biosimilars business in the US. Fulphila, our biosimilar pegfilgrastim, increased its market share to 21% from 14% a year ago. And we realized that this was the only product in the category increasing market share. Ogivri, our biosimilar trastuzumab, increased share to 18% from 10% last March and is seeing increased pull-through at the physician level. Semglee was another big increase in market share performance, where the franchise has increased its share to 15% and is the fastest growing brand in the segment. Needless to say that the 15% only reflects IQVIA reported market movement. However, if you were to add the closed loop market that we address, this number will increase by 3 to 4%, which is getting closer to the 20% target that we have promised ourselves in terms of 1 in 5 patients using Semglee. In Europe, we achieved double-digit year-on-year revenue growth. Also, market shares for our commercialized biosimilars improved from the previous year, with Fulfilla at 8% versus 6%, and Abevmy or Bevacizumab of at 6% versus 1% last year. Julio has held its share at 6% across Europe. At a country level, Julio has garnered market share of 20% in Belgium, 18% in Germany, and 11% in France, and continues to remain a key value and growth contributor for our business. On the emerging markets front, we posted the highest ever quarterly revenue. The strong year-on-year growth was led by the robust performance of our biosimilars portfolio in LATAM, AFMET, and APAC regions. Revenues were driven by the consolidation of our self-led and partner-led businesses, supported by 7 product launches during the year. Both insulins and monoclonal antibody portfolios made good progress, with our key products holding a dominant market share in several markets, including Morocco, South Africa, and the Philippines. We expanded our patient reach in Mexico with additional insulin supplies to our partner to address the unmet needs of insulin-dependent patients grappling with the market shortage of insulins. We have seen a strong demand for our recently launched Bevacizumab in Brazil. The company also won many tenders this quarter, including a significant large multi-year tender for MABs in Tunisia. Several new approvals obtained this quarter will pave the way for future business growth. Now, a word on our Eris collaboration. As previously announced, Biocon Biologics entered into a long-term commercial collaboration with Eris Life Sciences to expand patient access to our portfolio of metabolics, oncology, and critical care products in India. This collaboration or arrangement was for a total transaction value of rupees 1,242 crores, representing a value accretive multiple of 3.4x of revenues and 18x of EBITDA. These numbers, however, are not included in the reported financials this quarter. This strategic collaboration with Eris aligns with Biocon Biologics' commercial strategy to maximize patient reach and market potential while unlocking value from our branded formulations business in India. I would just like to add here that Biocon realized that its BFI business was stagnating due to a specialized small portfolio of products, which only was supported by a small field force. And we recognized the fact that we needed to enter into this collaboration with a company like Eris, which had a large portfolio and a large field force. And we are already seeing the benefits of entering into this commercial collaboration. We have also signed a 10-year supply agreement with Eris for these products as a part of this collaboration. Now, coming to generics, the business was fairly flat in FY24. However, the generics business saw several operational successes during the quarter, especially in generic formulations, which offset the impact of a muted performance in the APIs business. Our generics formulation business reported a healthy 36% growth as our products, particularly statins and immunosuppressants, gained traction across multiple geographies. Most importantly, our preparations for entering the GLP-1 market opportunity is building momentum, and we are absolutely delighted with the recent approval of liraglutide in the UK, making Biocon the first generics company to be approved for this product in an ICH or major regulated market. The approval validates our scientific and development capability in bringing vertically integrated complex peptide drug device-based products to the market. It certainly augurs well for us to capture GLP-1 opportunities that will drive our future growth. Moreover, we won tenders in several markets such as the UK, Scotland, Singapore, and Saudi Arabia in line with our regional expansion strategy. When it comes to research services, Syngene uh, saw a impact of lower demand for research services in Q4, stemming from a reduced capital funding environment in US pharma and biotech. Despite the reduced demand for research and development services, Syngene delivered a 9% growth for the full year. This resilience is the result of our broad operating span and investments that were made to establish our development and manufacturing divisions, with biologics in particular delivering a strong performance throughout the year. During the quarter, Syngene operationalized a new capability for purifying and separating chiral compounds and highly potent active pharmaceutical ingredients as part of its development services. Now, coming to novel biologics, let me start with itolizumab. Our US-based partner Equilium announced positive top-line data from phase 1b equalized study of itolizumab in patients with lupus nephritis. The study demonstrated clinically meaningful response in highly proteinuretic patients, with more than 80% of patients achieving over 50% reduction in urine protein creatinine ratio. Itolizumab demonstrated a favorable safety and tolerability profile. Bicara, our Boston-based company, presented positive interim data from its ongoing open-label phase 1/1b dose expansion study of BCA 101 at the European Society for Medical Oncology, or ESMO, Congress, evoking strong investigator interest. In December 2023, Bicara closed a Series C funding of USD 165 million. In FY24, Biocon recorded a gain of 530 crores, arising from the dilution of its shareholding in Bicara to 14%, leading to loss of significant influence over Bicara, and henceforth Bicara is no longer going to be treated as an associate company of the Biocon Group, but rather as an investee. Now, coming to outlook, in FY24, the Biocon Group has strengthened business operations, expanded global reach, and is now increasingly well positioned to deliver a new phase of growth spanning biosimilars, GLP-1 peptides, and CDMO services. For generics, we look ahead in our formulations business, which is expected to be the key growth driver for FY25 and beyond. Our investments in expanding manufacturing capacity, primarily for formulations and peptides at Vizag, Bengaluru, and Hyderabad, as well as the acquisition of the oral solid dosage site in the US, certainly positions us well for the future. We see GLP-1s as the major growth driver for the business from FY26 onwards. Market data indicates the market opportunity for these molecules to reach nearly $100 billion by 2028. And we have a comprehensive pipeline to address and compete in this major market opportunity. We intend to build upon our initial regulatory success in the UK and focus on a GLP-1 pipeline in strategic markets. When it comes to biosimilars, our R&D pipeline has progressed as planned, and we secured market entry dates for 2 new products in US and Canada. These products will serve to accelerate growth in the coming years. We have made investments towards capacity enhancement in Malaysia to ensure that we can meet the increased demands for insulins that we are seeing, especially from all global markets. We are also realizing the benefit of past investments to meet increased demand for monoclonal antibodies. Our focus in FY25 will be directed towards launching new products and expanding our geographic reach to address patient needs globally and unlocking value for the benefit of all stakeholders. In terms of research services, the recent step up seen in new funding in US biotech is encouraging and is expected to drive a recovery in demand for research and development services in the coming quarters. In anticipation of the recovery, Syngene has been adding capabilities that strengthen its position as a leading integrated provider of research, development, and manufacturing services. And finally, Syngene is well positioned to benefit from the China Plus One strategy, which is being rapidly adopted by US pharma and biotech companies. With that, I would like to thank every one of you and bring my comments to an end.